Hello and welcome back to another episode of Zach O Disc. I am back and it seems like it's been forever since my last video and I do apologize for that. Right there in the middle of disc golf season, I got called to go do some projects with Disc Golf Network. I also had some tournaments that were already lined up for Crew 42, and so for like 8 weeks I was just slammed. And so it's not until now when I've been able to kind of sit down for a moment, have a moment to breathe and do something else. So I decided that based on the season, this would be a really good opportunity for me to go through all the putting leagues that I've been to recently, give you a quick breakdown of what they looked like, how they operate, and then kind of give it a rating of which ones I think were my favorite to go to. Overall though, disclaimer, I did love going to all of these. They all have their individual things that were very fun about them. For me personally, it's also probably worth noting that I had to travel a minimum of 45 minutes away to get to the closest one of these. So I did quite a bit of traveling, so hopefully you don't have to do that to discover which ones you want to go find out or which ones you like the most. But without any more delay, let's get into this list. So I've put them in order from S, A, B, C, and D, and F. And D and F are the ones that are no longer going to happen. We can't do anything about it, unfortunately, for one reason or another. And I'll get into it, but I'll still review it because I participated and I liked it. Starting with the Great Lakes Disc Marksman League. This is a Marksman League that happens across the country. It is a station league, so you put at 5 different stations at set distances. I'm pretty sure it's 20, 25, 30, 25, and 30, with those last 2 stations being on marksman's baskets rather than regular baskets. And you compare your score to other people at that event that night. You also compare your score to other people across the country who are also participating in the event. It's a very good league for you to go to if you're trying to get better at putting. Awesome league for development. For me personally, it's a B tier for me. I like leagues that have a little more payout or a little more jungle themed. We have some more on that list that we'll get into, but really a solid league, especially if you're looking to improve your game. If you're a newer or beginner player, highly recommend this league. It's cheap and it's good for your game. Next one I'm going to get to is already started when this video is being posted and recorded. This is already started. It's the Lansing Putting League. It's a jungle themed league, so you putt at different stations at different distances with different obstacles in your way. It changes over time. They have special events where you're putting on miniature baskets as well as having a miniature basket like tournament at the end of the session. Lots of awesome fun, reasonably priced to get in, high payouts if you do well. It's a random doubles. When I went, it was 3 rounds. I had a lot of fun in this league. It's one that I go to every year. If I can only go once, I will go. It's almost 2 hours away from me, so I don't get to go as often as I like to, but if I lived locally, I would go every week. It's very interesting. They do a good job of changing the course, and the course is going to change more because now they have a new section of the mall kind of dedicated to themselves, and I'm very interested to see what it looks like. This is an A tier. I love it. This is a church league that I went to kind of spur of the moment with a friend of mine. Also random doubles, also jungle themed. Not quite as expansive as the Lansing Putting League, not quite as much space, but they do a really good job with the space they have. I wasn't able to go a bunch. When the league ended, it was kind of quick for me, and I thought, man, I wish we could play more. And the people running it went, hey, that was really fast. You want, like, how many people want to pay in and do it again? And I thought that was such a great idea. I got a new partner. We played again. That was so good that they were flexible. But because the league is limited in its space inside, I'm going to give it a B. However, again, if you're in that area, you should definitely go to it. It was a blast to play. Everyone was awesome, but it doesn't quite meet that apple-to-apple comparison to the Lansing Putting League for me. So for that reason, it's one step below it, but I still love this league a lot, and it will go again if I have the time. Timeout. If you're thinking right now, but you know, where are these leagues located? What's some more details? Everything that I know about them, either in the past or currently, will be in the description below. So if you're like, wait, what's going on here? Check that out. You get more information if you see something that interests you, or if you want to see if it's nearby.
Great Lakes Disc is your one-stop shop for all your disc golf needs. They have thousands of discs in stock, as well as bags, carts, and accessories needed for all players from beginner to pro. Shop in-store or online at greatlakesdisc.com and check out using code 111786 to receive 10% off your order. Great Lakes Disc have the service and experience to get you ready for the course. So check us out today.
Back to the list here, we have the Owasso Putting League. This one is a little harder to grade. I went to a tournament, so they had more space and more baskets than normal. Also jungle themed, you and a partner. You only put one at each station, but there were 3 rounds again. It was over the course of several hours. It's more than 2 hours away from me, so I don't get to go a whole lot. The normal putting league, as I understand it, is only half the space with fewer baskets, but the same format. So format-wise, I like. Jungle theme I like, but again, because the space is limited from what I know as a league perspective, it's going to be a B rating for me. However, the tournament itself was S tier. So I'm going to leave this in S because it was that much fun. I loved the tournament. They'll post on Disc Golf Scene hopefully again to do it there. And if they do, I'm finding Jamie, we're going back to defend our title. This next one was in Muskegon. It's also a stations putting league. So there's 3 stations here. You're putting, I think, from 25, 30, and 30. The last one being a Marksman that's even shorter. I think it's a DGA basket. You go through it once. I then waited in a line for like 10 to 15 minutes, went through it again, and I thought there was more to it, and it ended. And so for me, I thought the space could have used more baskets. I thought that we could have done the format a little differently. Huge shout out to people who do run it. No shame in this. I know that they were talking about adding more stations to go like up the stairs and putting from the balcony down to it. All those things would be really big improvements for me. They also had things like a radar gun station, so I was able to check to see how fast I threw a forehand. I think the radar gun was off, but I'm going to take the 60-something, whatever it was. And but just I wanted more out of that. I had a little too much waiting for me and not enough putting for the trip that I made for myself. If I lived locally, the benefit to it, especially if I'm kind of in a time crunch, I don't have to stay a whole lot. So I see why this would be alluring to people. You kind of go through it twice and then you get to go home. You don't have to be out for 3 hours. People with families, you can get a putting league in, you get ranked, you can win some money. And so all that's really good. But for me personally, I'm going to put this as C just because for me, when I go to a putting league, I want to go for like a couple hours. And I didn't quite get it when I went that time. I do know they're trying to make changes. I think this will be rated higher when I go back again. Next on the list was a trip. This was in Indiana. It's called The Putting League, ran by Kevin Fodry out in that area, and it's on a campus. And it was in a gymnasium, jungle themed, multiple stations going uphill, downhill, very, very diverse. I really, really like this league. Good payouts and an insane number of people. For that number of people, he does a really good job of running it, making sure everything is clean, making sure everything is in its right place. They had tons of bonus prizes, bonus games. I was able to help out and be on the microphone and tell people when to throw and stuff. I had so much fun at this league. If you live in the area, if he's running it again, you definitely should go. That was so much fun. For me, if I lived next door, A tier. Awesome place to be. I think it would improve my game. And they split divisions in it. So there's an amateur and a pro. So if you're like, I'm not so good, I don't really want to compete against pros, you get to split into that division and you compete with people more at your skill level. But I loved it a lot. I think they did a really good job with it. This next one is in South Haven. It is a stations putting league. So one basket, and it's kind of set up like PP360 where you put at certain distances twice and then back up, twice and then back up. And the reason I like this league is because you get to do it as much as you want. You get to go for max score. The format's very interesting, so once you tally up the number of putts you make, at the very end you can gamble any number of them, roll a dice to see how far away from the last station you make a putt. If you make it, you get those points you wagered. If you miss it, you lose the points. And so most people wager all the points and try to double up their score. You're going for max score. They keep a running tally of the league, so there's good comparison. I really like this league. This is a good one, again, for both people who want to be there for a long time like me and people who want to be there quick because you can show up, do your station, and go home, be a part for, I think it was $5, so really cheap too. But if you want to do that and like go for a max score and putt a lot and work on your game from different stations, this was really good for that too. For this one though, I'm going to give it a B. I like it a lot. Lakeshore Putting League. Unfortunately, this did not happen last year. It is by far my most favorite league of all time. And so you might guess this is going to go in the S tier, rightfully so. It is in a hockey stadium. There's 4 baskets that you putt at, and there's a short and a long. You and a group of like 5 each go with the stations. You go through, essentially go through it twice, once from the shorts, one from the longs. You get a break, you go to the other 4, and you do it again. A lot of people involved, runs really smooth. A lot of prizes involved, everyone gets what they're supposed to get. It's a lot of fun. There are a lot of these leagues that I have to travel for. I will go once a year. It's kind of like tournaments and courses. I'll go once a year. This one, I'll go as many times as I can, and it's over an hour and a half away. I love this league. It's so much fun. I've been able to record it a couple times. One time, the course director was trying to get it as hard as difficult for me, and I shot like the record on it. So I'm looking forward, if he's able to work with the hockey rink to get this to go again, I'm going. This is a fun league. I don't know if it'll run again, so it's kind of sitting in between the S tier and DNF right now, but it's an S tier for now because I'm praying, I'm hoping that it comes back. Next one's back in Indiana, another jungle theme. This one also in a gymnasium, much smaller gymnasium, very similar to the putting league, except it's very condensed, and so there's boards that protect you from misguided putts. But it's a lot of fun. They do a good job in variants of challenging you, so skinny baskets in some stations, elevated in one way. And one thing I really like is that they have a shorts and long in each station, and 1 week it'll rotate clockwise, and the next week it'll work counterclockwise. So there's two different kind of courses. Good payouts, lots of fun games in between rounds. I really enjoyed this one. This is a solid B for me, and the only reason it doesn't get an A is because I'm comparing it to the putting league, and I think that one has just a smidge more than that, but this one's really close to being an A to me. This one splits between the two. I really like this league. If you're in the area, Niles, South, in the northern Indiana area, it's well worth the time. You know, this is coming up. They've been talking about it on Facebook. Check it out. Get to it. This is the one that I have to put in the DNF category. It is no longer going to happen, not because the club isn't going to run a putting league. I think they will still run a putting league. However, it can't be here because the Fire and Ice Creamery and Pizzeria, it's a mouthful to say, has closed. And so the space they would use to run the putting league no longer exists. I like this league. It's 3 stations. So there's a short and a long in each one. It's a station-esque type of putting league, but I loved it because the guy who ran it, David, made special rules. And so the times I went, there was like challenges and barriers. Other weeks that I didn't get to go to, you had to like an oven mitt you had to wear to putt. Other times you had to do turbo. Sometimes you had to do forehand. And so he did a great job of making these 25, 26-foot putts interesting because you got to do something funky and fun. And the station, it's an ice cream place, there's pizza, there's great food, great environment, lots of fun people, and really good payouts, even though you don't have to pay a lot. So normally this would be at a BA, kind of split in the same way the last one was, but unfortunately this is not going to happen in this location anymore. I don't know what the next one might look like, so it's going to be in the DNF category. All right, the last 2 leagues I have here are considered my home leagues because they're both 45 minutes away from me in 2 opposite directions. First one is the South Haven one at Lake Arvesta. I'm going to give this one an A rating, and here's why I give it an A rating for me, because it's high payout for doing really well. It's cornhole type of disc golf, so you and a random partner putt twice, you make both, it's worth 3, you make one, it's worth 1, you're playing another pair until 21. Double elimination. The only reason you might not want to go is not necessarily the best league when it comes to getting better at putting. So players that are really good at putting tend to do really well there, and they can make money. And the people who don't do very well, they might be 0-2 and done. And so there's a lot, the good side to that is that there's a lot of still stuff to do there. So if you bring your kids and stuff, you know, there's like a pool table and everyone's very cool and we hang out and we have good things to talk about. But if you're like wanting to compete, and this is a competitive league, they keep track of points. There's a championship at the end. I won that championship this last year. It's home to me this last season. It means something to me. It's an A tier. I love this in the sense because it's a competitive environment, and I like that feeling. And so it's an A for me. Again, high payouts, competitive environment, which is a little different than the other ones, which have competitive elements, but this one's kind of a strict competition, which I'm a big fan of, but I understand why some people might not like it. So it's got both sides to it, but I really like it. It's an A for me. The last one I have here is the Battle Creek League, and since I won Lake Arvesta last year, I'm going to kind of wiggle my way over to this one and see how long it takes me until I can potentially win this league. This is going to be in the A category for me. It's the one I've gone to the most other than the Lake Arvesta Putting League. And the format is very unique. The people are amazing. You putt singles, then doubles, then singles, then doubles. You try to win the most money that night. You try to win the most points for the points at the end of the season. There's so many things that are going on other than you just putting that one night that it's so much fun just to kind of enjoy the moment. There are many other putting leagues that I've missed, as well as new putting leagues that I know are coming around the corner that I'm going to go to. If you think I missed one that's worth mentioning, leave a comment down below, let me know what it is, and see if I can make it to that putting league this winter and make a video about it. If you think I misrated one, and you think it should be rated higher or lower, put a comment down below. Tell me why you think that league was better or worse, right? I enjoyed all these. I will continue to go to them if I have opportunity. That's my breakdown on them, though. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to find out more information, check the description below. There'll be more information about each of the leagues of what I know so far, and hopefully you can find one near you and participate and have fun this winter. Till next time, guys.